Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our program. But today we're going to touch on something else different. So today I'm not going to talk about economics, about finance, about business, no politics. I'm going to talk about Mwanandeke Kindembo. So who is Mwanandeke Kindembo? The guy is the person whom you're seeing before you on the screen. So Mwanandeke Kindembo is an engineer by professional, passionate about sharing ideas, most of them through writing. His interest of writing started after when he achieved a Bachelor of Engineering Honours in Computer Engineering at TU Dublin, Technological University Dublin. So he's interested in psychology, philosophy, mysticism, and theology as well. Theology is simply the study of all the religions. Theo meaning God. So in the case of philosophy, just the search of wisdom. Sophia, the seeking of wisdom or the seekers of wisdom. That's all about philosophy in general. Then we have psychology, just the study of mind and emotions as well. So those are the subjects which I became interested in. And mysticism really is like going at the side of esoteric and different cultures, really like ancient cultures. We can see we have like Sumerian culture, the Babylonian, ancient Egyptian. We have Greek culture, we have Roman culture. So those are like the mystics. So in every religion, there's always a touch of mysticism as well. So it is hard not to be on the mysticism. So in the case of mysticism, there's a little touch of spiritualism as well. So this is Mwanandeke Kindembo before you. So why I become a YouTuber? So is it full-time? Is it a business? Is it what? So those are like the questions which I have to clear. In the case of my fans who are asking to talk about myself. So my name, the pronunciation of my name is Mwanandeke Kindembo. Mwanandeke Kindembo. So it is hard for the Europeans to try to pronounce African names, just as it was hard for me as an African when I came to Europe to try to pronounce European names. Like since I'm not the famous names, it's just maybe the ones in the Bible, like John or Moses, Aaron. So it is easy in that case. But other names for me, like in the case of Ireland, Irish names are so hard to pronounce as someone who came from Africa. In my case, I was born in Congo, Baraka, which is just a small town in Baraka, in the eastern part of Congo. So this is Mwanandeke Kindembo. So in my case, I'm going to give my little parcours. So in the case of ego, we say there's a small ego and a big ego, but the small ego usually try to appear as bigger. So in the case of Sun Tzu, in the Art of Wars, he says if you're weak, you have to try to appear to be strong, and if you're strong, you have to appear to be weak. So it's like the game of deceptions. Same thing also happen inside the bodies or inside the mind in the case of the ego. So the small ego, the small I, is the one who's talking really in this case, like promoting or same thing like that. But in the case of the real I, the really self-realization, does not talk too much even when I speak. In the case of the I, not the corporeal, not the body, but in the spiritual realm, because I've got the physical, the mental, and the spiritual realm. So in that case, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to mix both of them. When I say I'm actually talking on the spiritual level, not the body. So I'm not the sack of blood, not the sack of bones, or the sack of flesh, just flesh. So in that case, we're going beyond the flesh, black and white, seeing two colors, black and white, Chinese, whatever you call it. So we have to go beyond all of those in case of judging someone. In the case of Martin Luther King, so he didn't want the next generation or these children or the grandchildren to be judged according to the skin of their color. Maybe you say it's a colored people, black people, these people, or white or black. I've never seen a white person. Maybe Irish people, you can see, I've seen some of them white, pure white skin. But we have to try to go beyond all the corporeal, all the physical things, saying I'm black and white. You're not the sack of blood, you are not the skin, you're not flesh, you're not bones. So when you die, it is the body which dies, but the soul, the spirit goes on. So in the case of sunshine or sunset, all of them appear the same before the observer. Same as life appears the same in the case of birth and death. The I, the true self, continues. The I am continues. The ego continues. So in this case, ladies and gentlemen, we have to put jokes aside. I'm an author of self-help books. So I started writing. My first book was published in September 2019. My latest book, which I published, was like in February 2022. So in the time span of less than 3 years, so from 2019 to 2022, I published 6 books on self-help. The first one was like what they asked me. The subtitle was The Fear of Living and Dying Young. The second, Treatise upon the Misconceptions of Narcissism. Then we have The Hidden Code, The Hidden Secret of Codes. Then we have Resistance to Intolerance. Then Sinless. Then Destiny of Liberty. That is my latest book, which I published in February 2022. So from 2022 to 2024 now, we're going the end of almost 2025, because we're already in the September 2024. So in the time, all of those time now, the gap, I've left like a big gap before I publish the next book. So I'm simply taking some time to reflect, some time to selling the books as well, because they say you can have good books on the shelf, but if no one is reading them, if you're not promoting them, if the message is not reaching people, then you have to try to change your strategy. So that's the advice which I took. Try to put the publishing side apart. Because I'm self-publisher, I publish most of my books through Amazon KDP, the Kindle Direct Publishing. So in this case, I'm simply doing more promotion. It can be on the social medias. Today we have so many social media: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn. So I'm simply, in my case, I usually avoid TikToks, Snapchat, things like that. I take Instagram serious, including Facebook and LinkedIn as well. So it's just my preference. It doesn't mean those websites are bad or those social medias are bad. Not really, just the way I feel on my side. So it is personal. In your case, you don't have to take it personal, but you have to take it serious, but not personal. So it depends really. Maybe I did some research. That's why I'm trying to avoid them, boycotting them. So they say too much of everything is not good. So if I say I want to explore all the social medias, maybe I might lose myself. Maybe I might become addicted. And in that case, I will not focus on publishing books or writing books, because in my case, because of course I'm a technological tech background or engineering backgrounds, I usually write. I do proofreading, editing, cover designing, and publishing. So I take all the credit on myself. By credit, I mean doing everything, including coming up with the title, editing, proofreading, things like that. So it is a troll. It is a heavy troll, or heavy everything really on the mind, because it is not all about physical, it is on the mental level as well. So this is Mwanandeke Kindembo before you. I have done the videos, my YouTube. I started my channel, that was back like in February 2010. I just opened a YouTube channel and left it. I didn't know the benefit, I didn't know the usefulness of having a YouTube channel. Then after that, started primary school, secondary school. I finished in 2015. Then from 2015 to 2019, that's when I graduated university. So I did 4 years of engineering in computer engineering. So in my case, I've got some electronic backgrounds, some software background, which is all about web development, coding as well, back end, front end, and full stack as well. That's all like coding, JavaScript, C++. You have C, you have many programming really, those which I did in the school. Mathematics as well in the case of engineering. Even if it is computer engineering or computer science, mathematics is always there in every semester, so you cannot run away from mathematics. So in my case, the subjects which I did in secondary school as well, I did history, I did maths and English. It's compulsory, you cannot drop those two. I did maths and English. It was history, physics, accounting as well, and I did almost six subjects, something like that. History was my best subject, accounting as well, because I did a business in the living. We said we have a junior set and living set from first year, second year, third year. That's like junior set here in Ireland. From fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, that's called living set, living certificate. So those are like my favorite subjects. But again, I came in the case of physics as well. I took physics out of the three sciences: physics, biology, chemistry. I love the physics more because physics talks about the real world, microcosm and microcosm. The micro, big one, and micro, all of them sound the same. Macro, micro, micro, micro. They're all interchangeable really. So in the case of physics, it's much better. It's great, it's an interesting subject if you have good teacher as well as teaching it. It's so interesting. In the case of history as well, I learned about the European history, the African Americans and things like that, the slave history and all of that. It was so interesting in my case. So I'm born on the 11th November, which makes me a Scorpion. That's my birthday. 1111. The people just say that the 1111 is like the lucky number or the number of transformation, things like that. Maybe some people believe like 1111, 22, 33, something like repetitive numbers. I love them. So in my case, I was born on the 11th of November, so 1111. My birthday is coming since we're in September. At the end of September, just 1 month or 2 months and a half in this case, or 1 month and a half because it is in the middle of November, so it's the 11th of November, something like that, which makes me a Scorpio according to the people who believe in the zodiac sign or astrological signs. I'm born, so I'm a Scorpio. In the case of astrology, from October, the end of October, can be like the October 22nd, 23rd to November 22nd, 23rd. Those who are born in that time span, all of them are considered as the sign of a Scorpio. So in the case of Scorpio personalities, we are associated with in the case of birds, we are associated with the phoenix. It can be eagle as well. In the case of a Scorpio itself, it's like a crab. So all of those are like the water sign. So in the case of a Scorpio or the crab, they usually hide under the rocks, which means you are more introverts instead of being extroverts or ambiverts. So in my case, I'm trying to move out on the case of introverts, hiding out in myself and trying to come out instead of hiding inside, trying to come out as well, trying to express myself to the world, trying to share the message and the little knowledge which I'm blessed with. It can be on the account, it can be on the finance and the economics, it can be on politics as well, different mixtures of politics. So we have like capitalism, socialism. The oldest one was like the feudal, having us master and the serf, or master and the slave, and things like that. All of those is all the benefit of history. So once you know your history, you will know which policy is the best to adapt. In the case of democracy, democracy is not a name of any party. You can be a socialist and have some democratic attributes. You can be a capitalist and have some democratic attributes. We have fascism, things like that, some democratic socialism and things like that. So they have different blends and mixed economies as well, mixing capitalism and socialism. And people are simply doing experimenting really with different policies because no one knows what is right and no one is certain, can be certain of anything. So in the case of philosophical speaking, certainty is a dream. So no one can be certain of anything. It is like you're still alive. You want to define what will go after death. So only those who have died, they will be the ones who will know what will happen or what happens to those. This is souls who goes after death. So this is the body which dies, by the soul it continues really in different realms. So you have like the physical realm, we have the mental realm, we have the spiritual world as well, or realm, or the ether, the astral, and things like we have astral traveling, things like that. All of those are like mental. You are sitting here, but your mind is taking you, the soul, the spirit is elsewhere. In the case of dreaming, you can be sleeping on the bed, but you're dreaming you are in Africa, you're dreaming you're in America, you're dreaming you're flying, you're dreaming you're walking, running. It is the spirit or the soul which is doing all of the things while the body is resting. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mwanandeke Kindembo. In the case of a Scorpio, if you're interested in astrology, I think I can touch a little more on that. So in the case of Scorpio, we are more on the transformation side, transmutation. In the case of alchemy, transmutation. In the case of philosopher's stone, you have the base metal, you want to turn it into gold. So the body, the physical, is the base. The soul is the golden part, really, which means self-realization, the hidden meaning, or the algorithm, which they use, like in the Masonic as well. So in my case, I've done the videos on spirituality as well, mystical schools, everything really. In my case, I don't limit myself when it comes to learning. I cannot say because I did engineering, I just have to work with machinery, not really. So in my case, I left all of those coding aside and tried to help my fellow human beings. Instead of dealing with machines, I came to deal with the human being and try to find myself as well. So that's why I started with the ego, the I, the small I, the big I. That was the side of spirituality. Trying to find myself, asking the questions, self-inquiries. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Where I come from? Where I'm going? Those are like the questions really you have to know. The present, the past, the present, and the future. Who am I? Where I'm coming from? Where I came from? Where I'm going? Just the past, present, and future. But in the case of self-realization, there's a time and space loses its meaning. So self-realization is simply going beyond time and space and becoming still. There's no concept of time, there's no concept of space, meaning you can be everywhere or anywhere at the same time, which means that is how God also is everywhere, omnipotent, and is present, omnipresent, everywhere, anywhere. And whenever you think about God, He's there. Religiously speaking, they say the kingdom of God, the throne of God is within you. So where is it? Where is the soul? Is it in the heart? Is it in the mind? People are still looking, even the scientists today, they still cannot tell what is the soul or what is the spirit. But we know the soul exists, because what is death? When they're breathing, or when you stop breathing, you will be officially announced as being dead, even though the body is still there, even though the face, you are still you, as you. The people call you, or the people associate you as with the body, the physical part. But when the soul leaves, or when the breath leaves out, then you're gone. So in the case of yoga, they say you have to master your breath, because the breath lies the secret inside your breath. That's where all the secret is. In the case of public speaking as well, it's all about trying to control your emotions, try to control your breath, the way you breathe in. So if you're breathing too fast, your heart starts beating too fast, you start becoming fearful. What will people think about me? Maybe my voice sounds so bad. Maybe this is, in my case, I still have a cold, but I don't really mind too much what people say, my voice sound bad or cracking or this or that. So in my case, courage, despite all the bodily weaknesses, I know that my spirit shall win. This year this year is going to make me a complete man, and nothing must remain undone. That's what we call willpower. You have self-discipline, self-knowing. Really, once you know yourself, you don't care whether it sound good or sound bad, as long as the message is transmitted or has been delivered to reach the ears of the viewers, the people watching, or the people are listening. That's all. So in the case of memory as well, the case of mind, I think I've done some psychological, my case as well, self experiments as well. So they say once you realize yourself, you cannot forget anything, or you can forget anything you want. So it is anything which you don't want to forget, you will remember. So in the case of forgetfulness, it is when you're forgetting too much, that means your spiritual level is still too low. And when you reach self-realization, whatever you want to remember, you're going to remember. So it is like you're in the library, all the information is at your fingertips. So in the case of remembering, like they say at the school, you have like different people, different methods of studying. They say some people are good only when they see things, visual things. Some people are good when they're wearing their headphones. Some people are good when they taste, when there's this. So the secret is that once you want to reach the remembering, you have to use all your senses. So 5 senses, 4 of them or 5, all of them are just on your head. So you have eyes, which is stand for the sense of sight. You have ears, the sense of hearing. You have nose, which is for the sense of smelling, really good smell, bad smell. But when someone says you're smelling, people start feeling bad. But it's just say you're smelling. Is it good? Is it bad? It hasn't finished the sentence. In the case of taste, it has your mouth, your tongue. You taste from your mouth. And the touch can be maybe on your hands. So once you touch something, once you taste something, once you see something with your own eyes, once you hear something, when you use all these 5 senses, or 3 or 2 out of 5, or 3 is much better, 3 out of 5, when you use those senses to remember something, or when you're touching something, when you're presented with something, then that thing is going to stick inside your mind as well. So the less the senses you use, the less likely you're going to remember something or someone. So that's why even in love, once you have shared all the experience, all the things, hearing, sight, touch, and smell, and things like that, it becomes so hard to forget that person. There's a whole secret, because you have 5 senses, and the 6th one, they say the third eye, there's like the 6 senses going beyond the physical, because this the third eye, which is inside the mind, you cannot touch it really. In the other words, the pineal gland, you have the pituitary gland and pineal gland. So in the case of that, we have like the frontal cortex, we have the, which is cerebrum, we have cerebrum as well. So in that case, when you use the 6 senses, you're going beyond the sight, touch, or you try to combine them, all of them combine. When they become one, that's when you activate the 6 senses. And when you activate that, everything, or you become whatever you see, whatever you read, you're going to remember it. Become like a photographic memory. Whatever you see, you just capture like that. That's all secret. You don't need to watch thousands of videos, how to read, how to remember, how to do this, or watching TED videos, endless videos, but you're not learning anything from all of those videos except wasting your time and effort. The whole secret is staring back at you, using your senses. If you want to remember something, use your senses. If you want to go beyond this physical, use your senses, or go beyond the 5 senses and explore the 6 senses. So in the case of 5 senses, those I consider them as inputs. So the information comes in, you're taking or absorbing all the information in. Those are like the inputs, the senses. So a man or woman is like a box. You have 5 inputs, 5 senses. The information, you can hear it, you can see it, you can smell it, you can touch it, you can taste it. All of those are like the inputs, really. You take absorbing the information. So whatever you read, whenever you're focusing, whenever, that's why I said the 2 things which are essential in life is paying attention and concentration. Even when you're listening, they say you need to be actively listening, not passive listening. Even in the way of speaking, talking, you just have to relax, breathing calmly, taking your time. They say having little pauses as well, 1 or 2 seconds or 5 seconds. But if you do too much of anything, it's not good. So in the case of Socrates, he said nothing in excess, but you have to know yourself. So once you know yourself, you will know this is good for me, this is not good for me. So in that case, you have to keep in the equilibrium, moderate. Not too much or not too little. You keep moderate. In moderation, that's the way you live as a Stoic. In the case of we have like Marcus Aurelius, we have Epictetus, we have like a Seneca. So all of them taught us we have to focus on the things which we can control, and the things which you cannot control, like criticism, people talking behind your back, doing all of this thing. You can get irritated, but you cannot do anything about it. You can tell them to stop. They will stop only when they feel like. So you cannot go and close someone's mouth, say don't talk, don't speak. The mouth is there just to speak, but you have to know when to speak and what to speak. There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is knowing what to say. Wisdom is knowing when and how to say it. So when and how. So keep asking how to do it. How can I do it? So when you know the how part, you're going to solve most of your problems as well. So when you're asking a question, or when you want to learn something much quick, ask them how to do it. So you take you the process. How part touches on the practicality, really. But if you keep asking, what is this, what is this, what is it, just irritating someone, and they will not even tell you the process, how to do it. How part is the key of unlocking most of your problems, most of the learning part, or in your mind. So they say education is the key. Yes, I have one of my quote. Education is the key, but you still need the master key to unlock all the locks. So I've got a Bachelor of Engineering and all of that, things like that. But after graduation and got Bachelor of Engineering honors, then I started writing, become an author, trying to reach more people, trying to explore myself, to know myself, instead of just going really mixing with people, machinery, start coding day and night, day and night, day and night. You have some codes, some errors. You say, where is this error? You have like 5 cups of coffee and things like that. So you're going mad, you're going knob really and things like that without knowing yourself. So in my case, even when I was still in university, that's when I came upon some spiritual books on the spirituality, which means going above the religious side. That's when I became addicted to spiritual books. After that, maybe it was a calling. The way the Christians say you receive a calling, you receive this and that. So in my case, my calling maybe is to teach, to spread the message, whatever I've got lucky to understand, to know. There's all the information which I'm sharing, spreading on my channel, as well as inside my books. So I've written 6 books, and all my books are based only on the 5 desires, which I told you here. So I said the man is like a box, a woman. You have 5 senses. You have sight, hearing, touch, smell, and things like that. 5 senses. So all of them are here, like on the head. So you don't need to keep remembering, to keep looking them. Or like I cannot remember, is it sight, is it hearing, is it touch, is it smell, is it? All of them are staring back at you, all the 5 senses. So in the case of my 5 books, are based on the 5 desires. So that's love, wealth, health, power, and then knowledge. So in the case of knowledge, in the case of wisdom, is when you put that knowledge into practice. knowledge is like knowing the fast, like reading 1,000. Let's say you read 5 or 3 books a week. But what is the benefit if you're not practicing whatever you're reading? So you see, I'll hear people posting on YouTube, I'm reading like 7 books a week, each book a day, or 2 books a day, or 3 books a day. All of that is good. But what have you done with all your reading, with all of that knowledge? What have you achieved? Have you even written a book yourself? Or you are there just there filling your mind, observing the ideas, the opinions, the view of others? So that's the problem. Reading is not bad, but becoming a bookworm, despite being an author, that's what I despise even myself. It's not really because I'm an author. That does not mean I read every day or every week. Not really. I can read one book even 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, even twice a week, just repeating it over and over. And when I go over it again, I usually come across, oh, I forgot this, I didn't remember this, I didn't see this, I didn't. So whenever I repeat over and over, things start clicking over. So it is all about the quality and not the quantity. You have to focus on great books. In my case, since I usually write on the self-help, self-realization, self-improvement, I usually focus only on the non-fictional and not fictional, which means the real world, the reality, and not the imaginary world. I think I've got the capacity to imagine things, so I don't need to buy a book. I try to have some fantasy, some imagination again. Try to think maybe you are in the world, in this earth, this planet earth. You try to think about planet Pluto, planet Mars, planet all of that. I think science is already doing all of that. So in the case even science, we have like friction science, which is like the frictional part. Imagination really, which is not bad, but don't overdo it, because you get caught up in imagination and your mind will become untouched with the reality. So in my case, I usually focus on the reality, the real problems, and try to come up with the real solutions of the world as well. So I don't have the time to keep going on the imaginary gossip, reading stories and things like that, something really which is unrelated. So in my case, I think, I don't know, maybe because I'm Scorpion. So in my case, the case of Scorpio is all about death, birth, and rebirth. So that's like the transformation. In the case of Scorpio, we usually seek the meaning of life. Not only life, even the meaning of death, despite my meditation being upon life and not upon death. So I like philosophy, mostly on the Stoics. I like them. I don't like them really. I apply the knowledge. So in my case, I don't only read for the sake of reading for fun. I read on the things which I think would be useful for me. And since I've got that mindset, that's when I consider myself lucky to find only beautiful, good books. So the books which I've read, maybe or most of them can be like on the restricted side or section. And the people are usually wasting time reading nonsensical books, really, and fictional books and things like that, stories which you cannot even discuss with someone else. So it's like reading for pastime, reading for fun, reading for wasting time, or reading to try to calm yourself, really. So in my case, I don't like being spoon-fed, but I like to understand myself, to elevate myself, reading like self-help, self-improvement, spiritual books. But becoming self-warm, there's a thing which I despise myself, even though I'm an author. I can tell you, read 1 or 2 or 3 books of mine. If you find one, it will click with you. So I said my books are based on 5 desires: love, wealth, health, power, and knowledge. In the case of power, it can include security, protection. Who doesn't want protection? Who doesn't want to be well secured? Your family, maybe yourself, you want to go safe and return safe. You want to be protected physically, mentally, and spiritual. That's like the protection. That's like the power side. In the case of power, I think some say, really, whatever you say, people have to accept it. People have to come and give you hand saying you said something good. So it's like acceptance in the case of power. Some people might have power through wealth, their wealth. Some people might gain wealth through their power in the case of that. So in the case of love and health, so love comes first. Love is the foundation of the house which I'm building. So in the case of love, we all need love. It can be mother's love, love of God, the love of this love. So there are many types of love, relationships, or partnership, all of friendships. Love is still the foundation. All the ship, friendship, relationship. Love is the foundation of all. Then we have wealth. In the case of wealth, even after teenager, now you start having some mind. Maybe 20, 25, you start seeking for wealth. Maybe 30s, you don't even care too much about what love. your mind is focused, is set upon wealth. After wealth, now you start seeking for good health. Let's say once you're 40, maybe once you stop growing, you start focusing on the body now. Maybe the backache, maybe you have headache, maybe you're feeling sore, the whole body sore, maybe you just trying to find meaning of life. It's like after 40, now you start focusing on health over wealth. But we're seeking health, we're seeking wealth. When you have wealth again and your health is bad, you have to sacrifice all your wealth in order to regain back the good health, that which you sacrifice in the beginning of seeking for wealth. And when you have good health and you don't have wealth, you'll get like mediocre treatment, so you still need wealth. So even though they say man is the root of all evil, but in this world or this generation, I think man is necessary. You just have to know how to use it. We have to know how to use it and not misuse it. So if you put it like you help the poor, the less the fortune, then it's still useful. You build like worshipping places if you want to get blessings. In the case of Muslims, you say go to Jannah, paradise, or whenever someone prays there, you get more blessing. Maybe you put water, fresh water for people to drink. Whenever people drink, or maybe in the hospital, you're helping people, paying their bills and things like that. Whenever they say thank you, you are the one getting all the blessings. If you believe in blessings of God, or if you believe in giving in order to receive more, to reap more. So all of those are like in the case of love, wealth, and health. So in the case of power, I said power can be like whatever you want to say in the community. People have to accept it. Whenever you share your opinions, your views, your perspective, people have to accept it. Perceptions, really, different perceptions, people have to accept it. But whatever you say, people doesn't accept it. You're feeling like you don't matter. No one cares about you. Some people even might commit suicide. So in the case of power, you have to know how to speak, effective communication, even when it comes in love. Come to any negotiation, diplomacy, it's all about effective communication, which is an asset which many people usually boycott, usually leave out. So that is the thing really which is making me to come in and come out. Instead of being an introvert, I have to try all my best to become, even in the case of ambivert, being the middle, or becoming an extrovert. So becoming more adventurous instead of being too cautious. So they say being too cautious, too much of anything is not good. Even being too much adventurous, maybe I'm going to lose my mind as well. So I have to try to be in the middle. I touch this side, trying to explore, trying to balance really in the equilibrium. So I don't want to keep swinging like the pendulum swing. Like the swing to the right is equal to the swing to the left. In my case, I want to reach the transmutation, which means going above the swing, even though it keeps swinging back and forth, back and forth. In my case, I will not be affected by anything, which means going above the mood swings. Whatever people say, it concerns them and it doesn't concern you. So become the actor. You become the cause and not the effect. So you have cause, every cause have an effect, and every effect have a cause. And so when you start becoming the cause, you are the one who's taking all the actions, and you are not the one the other people are reacting from your actions. Instead of you reacting all the time or taking whatever they throw to you, you have to become negative all the time. So that's all about, like in the case of spirituality, they say you stand still, don't react, don't become worried, don't get angry. So whenever you get angry, you are simply reacting to someone's actions. So you become the effect, and someone else is causing you to do that, to have mood swings up and down. In the case of self-realization, it's going above the swing, the mood swing, up and down. It's happy, sad, gloomy, things like that. Maybe you feel you don't want to do it, you feel like you want to do it. So you have like lack of self-discipline, lack of motivation, lack of inspiration. But once you find yourself, you go above all of those swings, lack of this, lack of that, you feel full energy. You feel happy, overjoyed. In the case of happiness, it comes and goes. So in the case of pleasure and pain, pleasure is always followed by pain, and pain is always followed by pleasure. In the American English, they say no pain, no gain. So you only feel the pain. Once you endure the pain, then you're going to feel the joy, the pleasure afterward. And when you feel too much pleasure, in the case of eating too much sugar, drinking too much coffee or tea, then the results also are bad, like diabetes and things like that, severe illness. So even though it is sweet in the present, maybe in the future it will not be good for you. So there's nothing in excess, nothing in excess. Don't overdo anything. Even though it is sweet, even though it is honey, you cannot get the honey without the bees. So you get the sting. So pleasure and pain are always the same thing in that case. So in the case of genius, most of the genius like willpower, most of the genius are like introverts as well. I think I don't want to become a genius if that is what people are thinking. I'm a genius or trying to become a genius because I'm sharing like different topics. I can touch on politics, I can talk about history, I can talk about politics, economies, like different political ideologies. I can talk about culture, which is economics as well. So in the case of like ideology, we have philosophy, we have culture, we have the society, is like the container of everything. Then we have history and land and things like that. Those are like the different philosophical ideologies in that case. So it doesn't mean because I can talk with all of them, it doesn't mean like I consider myself as a genius. I don't want to become a genius because geniuses are introverts. Geniuses, most of them are taking advantage of. I don't want to become like that. That's why I write books. Even though I write, I'm the one who try to promote them at the same time as well, because I can be a good author doing all of that good things. Someone else will come and take the credit for that. That's what most of the geniuses are like. So the quickest one could be like Tesla, you have like Einstein, things like that. Most of the genius, even Newton, Isaac Newton, Africa, Europe, and things like that. Most of the genius, maybe Africa, well, like we had geniuses in Africa, like ancient Egyptian, things like that. Someone came, took the credit. Someone like the Greek, the Romans took from that and things like that. So that's how they think of genius. But we still need them to increase our mind, to educate us as well, and to keep the generation, the golden age. So in the case of genius, we still need them. But in my case, I'm simply aiming for the willpower. I'm aiming for effective communication, because in the case of the geniuses, they're more logical, which is good. Having ideas, maybe you are good at the paper and things like that. But it doesn't mean because someone is good at writing good emails, good at the paper, it does not mean they're smart as well. So in the case of English, maybe I've got a strong accent. English is not my first language. I can speak like several languages. I can speak French, I can speak Swahili, Jambo, Abarigani, Hakuna Matata. I can speak Lingala, Mbote, Nini. I can speak Kikongo, which is my mother's tongue. Ibo Beno Bampangi, Zina Munoke Mwanandeke. So that I mean, how are you, my friends? My name is Mwanandeke. I can speak 7 or 8 languages. So English is not my first language. I learned it when I was around 14 or 15. So that's why you can hear me, I've got like a strong accent. French as well. Bonjour, messieurs. Je parle un peu de français, mais pas couramment. So in the case of French, once you learn French before English, you're going to have a strong language. So it doesn't matter if someone tells you that I'm coming from France. When they try to learn English, it doesn't matter if they have learned it for 10 years, 15 years, they'll still have that thick, strong accent whenever they're talking English. Maybe for my children, they have to start learning English first, my mother's tongue, then English, then French. Maybe that can be good. So in our generation, all of us really, no one can speak one, or it is so rare to find someone speaking only 1 or 2 languages. Most of people can speak 3 or 4 languages, because you have been moving from place to place, adapting different cultures, different societies, environments, meeting different people. It is the world of traveling, the world of exploring, the world of adventurers, instead of being too cautious, really. There's the new generation, the new world, maybe the globalization. So it is not only about the national, it's all about globalization now, having different relationships with different countries and things like that. And nowadays, people are free. You can live, in my case, I can live from Ireland, because it's like European Union. I can say I want to go to London, I want to go to Paris, I want to go to Berlin, Germany, I want to go to Poland, I want to go to all the countries which are like in European Union. I don't even need a visa, I just need a passport and go there and start living there, or get a wife, married, having a family there, and I live peacefully. So that's all about globalization, really. The world has become like one country, one place. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Mwanandeke Kindembo, so I can go on and on and on until tomorrow. There's like, I've got long history in my case, because I've traveled different places, different countries. I've tasted, I've seen different people, different cultures as well. I know what is good, what is not bad. I know when I've crossed the line, or when I've not crossed the line, or I can do it on purpose, or some people can do it like on purpose, or some people can do it really out of ignorance. So in my case, I'm simply seeking for knowledge, practical knowledge that will be useful to me and the community as well, not only to myself, not to be too selfish. Even though I have all the knowledge or all the wisdom which people claim, what is the usefulness of that if I don't share it? They say happiness multiplies only when it is shared. So if you have good news, then spread it out to good friends, really, not the ones who are feeling jealous to you. So in that case, you have to be cautious as well. not to be too adventurous. You have to know where you're going, and you have to plan out. So those are like the adventurous part. Even when you're traveling, when you plan already, you have already taken some cautious, some calculated risks. So in that case, you don't just have to go there for the sake of going without any calculation. You have to know how much money you need, or the booking as well. After you get there, where will you go, what will you eat, what these things like that, how much does it cost, how is the life there, how is the culture, how are the people, how is the situation, is there, why is it peace in the country you're going. So once you take all of those attributes into consideration, that means you have tapping into the cautious part, because it's all about survival. So in that case, you even do adventurous, there's still always a touch of cautiousness. In that case of cautiousness, it's all about survival, really. Don't overdo things, which is not too bad. So ladies and gentlemen, concerning my books, my work, which I've published as well, all of them are online, all the platforms, eBay, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, all the platforms really, and they have succeeded to make all my books in all the formats, which means the ebook, which is like the Kindle version. Some of them come in the paperback version, the normal book that you can read, and some of them comes in the hard covers. So the hard covers, so it's all about the quality over quantity. In the case of hardcover, it's going to last much longer than the paperback. In the case of hard book, you just need your mobile phone, your tablet, whatever you, maybe laptop. Just download whatever you're reading, you just buy it, then you download in your device, electronic device, and then start reading. And for most people, they say, well, I don't like phones, maybe it is too bright in the morning, or when I want to read it, I'm an early morning reader. I don't know, some people usually love to read at night. Some people say I like to read it during the day, when it is bright, when it is dark, so people have different preferences, different tastes, different flavors. So in that case, we cannot put everything only to be online or electronic side. That is why we have like the paperback, so you can feel the smell of the book. You can turn the page, touch them. So in that case, using the sense of touching as well. When it is on your online or mobile phone, you're simply using the sense of sight without touching. But when you have the book inside your hands, you can touch it, you can feel it, and you look, you can see the writings as well. You can mark, you can do the underlining, things like that, even though the underlining as well. For some websites, also for some applications or some PDF applications, you can do the underlining as well, but it's not for anyone who's more advanced in that. It's like the new generation. But for the older generation, because I have to consider the age gap as well in the case of my viewers. So I've got like the 13, 17, 25, even to 65 plus as my viewers on the YouTube viewers. That's why you never hear me using any vulgar or any harsh language. So that's like the way I was raised and the way I'm trying to adapt myself. So there's no benefit trying using harsh languages or vulgar language. So in my case, because I'm an author, I had to put myself to, I had really to distance myself from anything which is vulgar. So in my case, it's just all about trying to increase my intellect, which is an intellectual. Let's say men are usually more intellectual, women are more emotional, which might make sense as well. So in the case of the woman being emotional, it's like woman lives in the present moment. Since you live in the present moment, everything really which is going to happen in the present, you're going to get emotional. You're going to get everything really inside your mind, inside the heart. Since men are logical, which means, or rational beings, or rational animals, or logicals, which means they usually focus, or us men, we usually focus in the future. So that's why men usually are there, like planning what my family will eat today, tomorrow. Maybe I don't have to consume all of this mind today. I have to think about tomorrow. So the mind of a man is always thinking about tomorrow, the future. While the mind of a woman only thinks about the present. Maybe that's why they do most of the shopping. Once you give them money, we just go and spend everything. They just want to eat good, wear good, traveling, being adventurous. So in the case of traveling as well, there is something which you cannot take away from women. So all of those really are like philosophical thoughts, and they say all the wise people have said the same thing throughout all the generations. There's nothing new or nothing which I'm saying really. It's like different philosophies. I've combined all of them, the books which I've read, the books which I've written, including my own touch as well. So there's a saying that we are all unique, but the more unique we are, it just shows how similar we are. If you are all unique, just mean really we are simply rolling all common denominators uniqueness. So we are all unique, that means we're all similar. because uniqueness is our common low common denominator. So in that case, really, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mwanandeke Kindembo. I think you know, forget that name again. It is so hard to say, so hard to pronounce the name. Mwanandeke Kindembo. So if you go on my LinkedIn, I've put the pronunciation there because it's much easier. They put like the option of adding the pronunciation of your name. So I've recorded my name there. If you go on my LinkedIn profile, it's verified, which is an advantage. So you'll know which one is fake or which one is really verification. So in the case of verification, you know this one is authentic. So in my case as well, I try to be more simple. You can even see the room, the background. I don't want to complicate things. Even on my videos, I don't do editing. So I don't cut. Even when I make a mistake, I can come next time and try to correct it. Which means I'm not afraid of making mistakes. I'm not afraid of taking risks. Maybe in the future it will come. Maybe I might change that. Maybe I have an editor, professional, something like that, will come and start editing my videos. So I'm not afraid maybe to appear too dark, maybe too bright, too this, too that, as long as the message is reaching you, as long as you can understand. Maybe you can read the caption, so you start having the caption down there, which is good. Maybe my accent is too strong, which is something really I cannot change, and which is something we really I don't desire. And we're all aiming for perfection, or we're all aiming for goodness, effective communication. In my case as well, because we're moving from summer to winter, there's like the change of season, winter season, cold. I'm not used to this weather. I'm an African man. Maybe my body, my bones, or this physical body, the corporeal, is not used to it, despite having lived here 10 years plus in Europe or Ireland. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, this is Mwanandeke Kindembo. I'm here to start sharing whatever I know, whatever useful. I'm here to meet all your requirements. As the viewer, you are the boss. I'm just here really whatever you demand, I'm going to deliver it. So if you say I cannot understand this and that, maybe I'll go online and start doing some research. Because most of my videos which I'm doing really, it's not really like I know everything really. Most of my recent videos are the things which I'm learning myself. So I learn through teaching. There's the things which many teachers usually forget or refuse to admit. Most of the teachers usually learn by teaching. So it's not like I don't have to assume, I don't have to pretend like I know everything, or I've mastered all the subjects in the universe. No one knows everything. And claiming to know everything, that is the first sign of ignorance. Like Socrates said, all he knew that all I know is that I know nothing. Since you already identify your ignorance, and when you know that you're still on the physical level, you can only know everything maybe when you become one with the cosmic energy, one with the universe or the cosmos. So in my case, I don't know everything. Whatever I'm teaching, I'm actually learning along you as well. So when I teach it, that's when I learn much better. So we're going back to the senses. So when I teach, it's like really the sound, I can hear it, I can see it and things like that. So it simply means I'm using the more energy and more of the senses, of the 5 senses. Then after teaching, then I can absorb all the information as well, because all the videos, I can go through the videos as well, same as you. I can watch and rewatch them over and over and start asking, is this my voice? Is this me? And this and that. So wonders never end, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is a long video. Maybe you thought it would be something on the economies, something on finance, something on business, like the workbook plan. Or you thought it would be something on spirituality, mysticism, philosophy, psychology, or theology, or religions. So in my case, I've done the videos on religions, major religions. I did the video on the Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and Hinduism, like the 4 major religions. So in the case of Hinduism, nowadays everyone knows about karma, mantra, and the affirmations, like the mantra. Everyone knows about meditation, yoga, and things like that. So it is the religion which you cannot leave behind, because it is actually growing as well. It is increasing, the followers are increasing day and night. Even Europe, the case of Hinduism or Buddhism has actually penetrated through Europe and Africa worldwide. It's like Islam as well, which is growing rapidly. They usually call it cancer religion, Islam, religion of peace. So ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to end there. So in my case, this is Mwanandeke Kindembo. Maybe this is a small ego, or the real I, the real realization. So as long as you want something on spirituality, I'm here for you. Whatever maybe I just touch, or and you want me to go deeper, profound, you can just leave your comment. and I'll go, maybe I'll draw another video, maybe if I get time I can come and try to clarify whatever misunderstandings or whatever confusion I left inside your mind. Maybe if you didn't understand it, because this is a long video, you have to try to go over it. I've got some spiritual videos as well, go and watch them. If you are the one who is interested in finance, financial investment and things like that, I have a playlist just for that, how to invest for beginners. If you're one who want to start your own business, I have a video and a playlist dedicated to the business plan workbook. So you can go on that playlist and start learning, which is the information is free for all. I've got videos on the freelancing, and I recently did a video on the affirmation marketing as well, which is good. So in my case, I'm trying to spread all the information, because we're living in the age of Aquarius, which means is this the age of technology, the age of exploration, the age of learning. It is no longer the age of Pisces. It's no longer the age of swimming around over and over like two fishes or fishes. This is the age of learning, the age of having all the information, all the technology at our fingertips. It is up to us now to explore it. And since I've talked about the 5 senses, try to remember it's not all about memorization. The thing is to experience it. The thing is about practical knowledge, practical wisdom is much better than knowledge. So in that case, knowledge is just there. So in the case of knowledge, it is like a mirror. That's one of my quotes. Knowledge is like a mirror. It will show you where the dot is located, but it will never remove it for you. Like the camera, I can see myself, my face. If I have something dirty here, or I can see it. But to get that thing out, the mirror just show you the dirty is here or here. But you need to lift your hand really and take it out. The knowledge is knowing the dirty is here to see it. But wisdom is when you lift your hand and take it dirty out, because you don't want people to see with the dirty or you messy hair outside. So in that case, when you take care of yourself, that's when you apply the wisdom. So wisdom is much better, even though it is just a drop of water on the ocean. If it doesn't matter how little it is still, it is be like a dark room. It doesn't matter how little the light is, as long as you have small light coming in. There's a quick example of the dark room. So you don't need to sweep out the darkness out of the room. You just need to open the window, just need to open the blinds, and the light will come in and all the darkness will go away. So there's like the mystery of the world, day and night, Monday, Tuesday, Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All of them are just playing around day and night, good and evil, God and devil, things like that. So that is like the mysteries of heaven, the mysteries of the world, the mysteries of universe. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to clear the ignorance. I'm here to enlighten, to shed the light inside the darkness, to remove all the ignorance, all the dogmas, all the misconceptions really. So that's my job. Like Socrates said, you become like a godfly, like going around trying to trouble people. So in my case, I think I'm not here to annoy you. I am here to help whenever, whatever I know. If I can help, then I'll be available to help as well. So ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, this is Mwanandeke Kindembo. So I have to say slow again, Mwanandeke Kindembo. That is my name. So it's just a name. Anyone can have thousands of Mwanandeke, thousands of Moses, thousands of Aaron, thousands of this. It's just a name, but who I am really, there's the same question which I'm going to leave you with. Thank you for watching and have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Ciao. Bye.